at World of Bluegrass last year in the Dark Shadow Recording Bluegrass Ambassadors Suite, which, if you don't already know, is the place to be at World of Bluegrass. Highly recommend. And we started to just talk about our common interests and experiences. We had a lot in common and a passion for bluegrass music and supporting musicians, and started to imagine these workshops that we could offer, bringing together experts from the music industry, and offering spaces for musicians to come together and support all of your careers. So we believe that musicians are the heart of the music industry, and we're here to support you. So we're excited today for our first workshop to be in partnership with IBMA and to have Jeff Burke joining us as our guest expert. Jeff is a professional musician, educator, and independent promoter for the past 24 years. He has worked in management and booking at the Station Inn and at Dee's Lounge, which are two iconic bluegrass venues in Nashville, and is now working as an independent promoter connecting bluegrass and roots artists with his extensive network throughout Music City. So Jeff has a wealth of experience in being on the talent buying side and is going to share with you some tips and strategies for what you need to know to get noticed and get booked. Take it away.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Kristen. Hi, everybody. I see a lot of familiar names out there. I'm excited to be here. It's my first webinar. I don't know what kind of an expert I am, but I'm going to share a lot of ideas with you from a talent buyer point of view, which I've been lucky to be a talent buyer for the past 4 years, like Kristen mentioned, with Station Inn and Dee's. But just to add to that, before I did that, I was in a band and a touring musician and did all the stuff you guys are doing now. Went to IBMA and did all this stuff from 2000 to 2012. If anyone's old enough to remember, Jeff and Vita was my ex-wife and we toured. So I've been a musician. I've been an educator. I'm with the Wernick Method. We do jam classes and camps around the country. And then I was lucky enough to work at Station Inn and Dee's. So I got to see the world from the talent buyer point of view and not just the musician point of view, which was really interesting. It's kind of like going underwater and seeing the sea from a different point of view. So we're here to talk about your online presence and why it matters. And just before I get into it, I do want to thank Kristen and Nancy and IBMA for putting this on. I think it's a great idea. And Kristen and Nancy are such great resources. Make sure you keep in touch with them and follow what they're doing, their upcoming webinars, because they're amazing people. So here we go. From my point of view, why does your online presence matter? Well, for starters, if you're sending an email and trying to get booked at a venue that I'm booking, I want to see what it's going to be like to partner with you. Obviously, the most important thing is your music and how that sounds, and you're all working hard on your music. But number two is when I'm looking at your pitch, I'm going to look at your online presence to see what kind of partner you're going to be for the venue. And this is a little brass tacks and cold, but we're all in it to present music and bring people together. But from a financial point of view, we have to make money as well. So we have to kind of know that you're going to do your job in helping draw people to your show in our market, right? And the online presence tells me a ton right away on what kind of partner you're going to be. So if you have a really good online presence, I can see that you're going to be on time and prepared. It just sort of, it speaks, the press kit that you have tells me a lot about your band, but the way it's presented and what you include and what you don't include or what's left out tells me even more about your band, right? So you want to show me that we've got all our T's crossed and our I's dotted, and that you're going to be a good partner in promoting your show. It's funny, you sort of think that you worry about promotion for the show after you get the gig. But from my point of view, when I'm booking somebody, I'm thinking about promotion before I decide on whether or not I'm going to book the band. And the way I decide, and the way I find out if that's going to be easy, hard, successful, is taking a look at your website, your Instagram, your Facebook, your YouTube, and seeing if it's updated, if it's consistent, and if all these elements that I need and you need to promote the show online, which is how we promote our shows these days, are there, right? So you want to make sure that all that stuff looks good and that all the pieces you need are there. So let's start to talk about what you should have. First thing I want to see in terms of your music right away is I want to see a video of a recent live show with the band that's coming to the venue, right? So if you have a band that doesn't always tour together or tours sometimes in different configurations, don't show me a video of a band that's not coming, right? If it's going to be a 3-piece on the road, but you have videos of your local performance with 5-piece and extra people, that doesn't mean if somebody's sitting in for a song, that's fine. But I want to see what this show is going to sound like and what it feels like. And the best way to do that is live videos. They don't have to be great quality, right? They should be pretty good quality, but I want to see a video of you and your band playing a recent show. Hopefully it's a good audience. People are really into it. So find your best live videos. I love professionally made music videos, but they don't tell me what the band's going to really feel like when they get on stage. So hopefully that makes sense. And then we're going to description of your music and artistic identity. That's kind of your getting into your press kit, right? Your bio, and even in your email, I'm going to want a little 1-sentence, hey, this is who we are, this is what we sound like, this is what we do. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Here's a little thing about IBMA World of Bluegrass coming up. We're all excited about that. Some ideas for making the most of your time there, for getting the attention of talent buyers, and making the most of your showcase opportunities. Build community with showcase artists. I think this is really important. See who else is showcasing, find out friends and bands that you know from the road in different markets. Make sure you know when they're playing. Listen to each other's music, create a playlist so you're kind of knowing who else is playing. Reach out to everybody you know who's going, because you can depend on your friends and bands, fellow bands from different markets a lot to help introduce you to talent buyers from those markets. Update and polish your online and print materials. That's the next webinar. I highly recommend, if you're interested in this stuff, making sure you attend all these webinars. Next one's Wednesday, the 28th, and then prep for Gig Fair, which is obviously a big deal. I'm sure a lot of you signed up for that yesterday. That's coming up on 9/11, another webinar to get you honed in for those skills. Reach out to top talent buyers. If you signed up for the Gig Fair, maybe think about the top 5 you really want to target for this IBMA, and reach out to them before you go. Send a friendly email. Hey, we're going to be there. Love to meet with you. I'll see you at the Gig Fair, but if you have any time outside or before, this is what we're shooting for. Kind of give them a little prep. So your 5-minute pitch at Gig Fair, they're already ready for it, and they know a little something about you. Make sure you obviously share your showcase times and locations. You got to let them know where you're going to be. Link to Press Kit, which we're going to talk about how to make that shine so that people are really interested in it. And allow time for conversations before and after showcases. Make sure that you're present before your showcase and you're present after. I know some of you have showcases back to back, but don't run off after your showcase, and don't show up 5 minutes before your showcase. That's a lot of people waiting in hallways to talk to you, and time to kind of start relationships before you play. Okay, this next one is interesting. This is about how to send an email when you want to pitch yourself to Dee's Country Cocktail Lounge or Station and you're coming through. You're going to make your first contact maybe with me or a talent buyer at whatever venue, wherever it is. These are just some ideas that I've found really helpful. It doesn't have to be a long introduction. The main thing I'm looking for is that you have specific dates that you're coming. Maybe not just, hey, don't be vague. We're coming. We'd love to come there sometime next year. Let me know that you're kind of targeting a couple dates. That makes it easy for me to respond really quickly and say, hey, this date is open and we can consider it, or that date's already booked. Let me know if you have any other dates available, right? Your band name and your 1-sentence bio, which we're going to work on today. The 1-sentence bio gives me a really good idea of what you are and who you do. Sorry, who you are, what you do. And then the next little bit there, you'll see your pitch for why it's going to be good for me to book you in my market. And this can be tough if you've never played there before, but if you have played in Nashville, for example, let me know what other shows you've played in the past. And if you have a sense of how many people you might draw, that's always kind of the number one thing in our mind is like, are they going to show up and no one's going to come because they've never been here before? If you've never been here before, doesn't mean you're not going to draw if you have a good online presence. But some other ways to increase your draw or think about making a sweeter pitch to a venue is, hey, I know these bands, these bluegrass bands in this market. They've played your venue before. I was recommended by them, and maybe we can partner with them and do a show together. So that's going to help our draw. So make sure you think about who do you know in the market if you've never been there before. And if you have been to the market, let me know how many people have come and anything that might be interesting for draw numbers, like, hey, I've got a bunch of relatives in Nashville, or there's an event going on, a bunch of people from that are going to come. Just help me figure out honestly how many people you think you can draw. If it's only 15, let me know that, be honest, and we we'll try to work with you to figure out how we get more people there. And then, of course, links to your press kit, socials, and maybe the live video, obviously. I like to have that sometimes in a signature where you just have your Spotify, your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram, and a link to your video, etc. You don't need to put your bio. I don't need your whole bio in your email. I just need to have links to those things. So we have some examples of what not to do when you reach out. These are actual emails I've received with band names redacted. Here's example one. Hi, I was wondering if there would be any interest in bluegrass. It's kind of traditional, but mixed with seldom seen Tony Rice and Billy Strings, question mark. We'd love to come play and make our way into Nashville some. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you. That's going to be, I'm just going to click to the next email right away. I'm not interested in whoever sent that email because it doesn't tell me anything about anything I just mentioned, right? It doesn't even tell me a band name. So just kind of something to chuckle at. Email two, what not to do. Hey, I just came across your guys' page and me and my band are interested in playing at your venue. We have a wide set list and play songs by the Eagles, the Beatles, Allman Brothers, and many more. We think we'd be a great fit for you guys. I could send you a link to my artist page as well as videos of us live. I look forward to hearing back from you. Just a quick note here. Obviously, that's not a great email. And in my position, like at D's, where we were doing 45 shows a month, I would get 30 to 40 emails every 2 hours, right? So I don't have time to start to make 4 email contact with you. I need to have everything I need to know if I'm going to continue the conversation in the first email. That's really important to me so that I can keep going through my emails and responding to people. So keep that in mind, if that makes sense. Okay, what's the next slide? Here's a really good example. Now, keep in mind, D's is not just a bluegrass venue. Some of this is Americana, but I really like this email. My name is, and they put the band name, I took it out. I'm a folk bluegrass artist based in wherever. I took it out, but they told me the name of their town. I'm organizing a tour for this January, and I'm reaching out to see if you would be interested in having me on this particular date, which is great. I've played in Nashville several times and have always drawn a big audience, most recently a packed house show last summer and a sold out show at the end in 22 with my friends, and they mentioned some local artists that I've heard of. So you can see where they put all those really important nuggets right into a very short email. I'm a solo performer. I'll be recruiting local openers for this tour, meaning they're going to try to partner with somebody else who might help them draw. I have 102 monthly listeners on Spotify and played 21 well-attended headline shows this year. I will be promoting heavily on Instagram, and then they show their numbers, and then you see their links below where they also show their followers. Just a quick note, you can tell this person is thinking about their pitch from my point of view, not just from their point of view. And I think that's important. Try to put yourself in the position of the talent buyer so that you're thinking about what they want to hear. And hopefully some of this information is helpful to help you hone those pitches when you first reach out. Okay, we're going to talk about the press kit page on your website. This goes back to what I was talking about before, which is this is the place where you can share all the information about your band for venues and for press. So, we have your bio and we have some photos. It's really important that for me, because again, I'm thinking about promotion before I book you, like how hard is it going to be to promote this show? Once we book a show, I need to create usually a ticket link. With some people use Eventbrite. All venues are going to use different platforms, but they generally, what we need different sized photos. Obviously, Instagram is square. Facebook, I know seems like it might not matter so much anymore, but I think it does in the bluegrass world because our demographic spans a wide age range. And as you know, some people in an older demographic don't use Instagram as much as Facebook. They all require annoyingly different sized pictures. So if you have photos that are downloadable, a link to it that I know I can just go grab and that are different sizes, that makes me happy to see when I look at your press kit. Obviously, live videos within the last year, crowd response, I know that I can link to those when I set up events so that fans who I'm trying to draw to the show can see your band and get excited about it. And then up-to-date bios. Really important that they're up to date, right? And that your whole website's up to date. And your socials are up to date. Just make sure that everything, when I look at them, are like, oh, these people have been promoting shows that they're doing now, that they're doing next week. It's, I'm not looking at a post, their last post is from 2 months ago, right? That just shows me that you're not really doing your end on promotion. So it makes me less likely to want to partner with you. When you talk about the bio on the page, think about it as a pyramid. We're going to work on the 1-sentence band bio today because a lot of times I need that for an event. If I set up an event on Eventbrite, for example, they want an 80-word quick description. I want to be able to grab that right from your bio. And the first sentence in your bio, if it's easy for me to grab, is great. And then the first paragraph should be, a little bit more on your band, but broad strokes, not getting right into each band member's bio, where they grew up, where they came from. That can come in paragraph 2, 3, and 4. The first paragraph should be exactly, or hopefully mostly, what I need to copy and paste and describe your band to fans and potential ticket buyers, if that makes sense. Some other things you might want to put on there. Share the stage is great. I know that when you're coming up as a band and you're trying to develop a following, and maybe you're in year one, it's really nice to know you've opened for Billy Strings, or you played a show with Sierra Hull, or you're on a festival that I know about, and that, I see other talent buyers are putting you on, so I should definitely take a closer look. Awards of note are always great, and some testimonial quotes from other venues or bands or press. That's great too. And then the booking inquiry, I think we were talking about in the previous slide, where we were just talking about how to put your email together when you're reaching out to a talent buyer. Hopefully all that makes sense. We're going to take a look at a press kit page that I really like. So for an example, hopefully we all know AJ Lee and Blue Summit. Really like those guys, and I really like their press kit. Let's just take a look at what's on their press kit page here. Right away, I see on the left, I see their hospitality rider and advance information. That's clickable. I have a downloadable stage plot, which is really important once we get a gig on the books and get rolling. But even more importantly, to the right here are photos, downloadable photos. We can keep scrolling down. Nice looking photos and quite a few options, different sizes, tall, square, long, a nice live one. This is something you don't have to put in there, but this really gets my interest. I'm like, ooh, a poster I can download. I can actually download a poster and print a few off to put around the venue. It just really tells me that these guys have thought a lot about all they need to provide to a venue to make it a good gig. Just have banner graphics that are not pictures. There's so much for me to choose from to help promote on my end. And really it just signals, again, it signals to me, wow, they've got their act together, so to speak. And then they've got a video page with a lot of really nice live videos, a couple of pre-recorded, it looks like, but a lot of live videos on stage. And that's really exciting for me to get a sense of, their consistency, what they sound like. And also, again, for potential ticket buyers, if I can share a link to what I think is my favorite video that gets me excited, it's going to get ticket buyers excited as well. How are we doing on time here? Ooh, this is kind of getting ready for your World of Bluegrass running around. And if you've been there before, I know a lot of you have. If you haven't, it's hectic. It's crazy. There's a ton of people there. You're trying to get a lot done. You need to have something to, when you run into people in the hallway, in the elevator, in the lobby, at breakfast, you want to have this is great from, I think Ben's on here, the Henhouse Prowlers. I like 4x6 cards with your schedule for sure, so people know where to find you, your showcases, but that QR code is key, because so many of us are able to just take a quick photo with our phone and jump back to your press kit page, hopefully, where I'm going to learn more about you really quickly. Definitely showcase times and locations. If you have a booth, which I think all official showcase artists get, put your booth number, maybe put your latest album release. A really good photo is there. The Henhouse Prowlers took care of that in one fell swoop, right? They've got their new album out now, and a great photograph, a QR code for me to get all the other information I need, and just the schedule of what I need this weekend, right? Or this week, where to see them right away. So think about having stuff to hand out. Make sure you have I wouldn't just put a QR code that gives your schedule. Have your schedule on there. That's the important stuff I want to be able to pull out of my pocket, and make sure I can come and see you. And if you have room for your one sentence artist bio, you can fit it on there somewhere. Get me excited about it. That's what we're going to work on during the breakout room. Something that's just going to really grab my attention.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. It was awesome.
Sorry.
Yeah, I really appreciate learning from you on all this.
Yeah, someone asked, do you prefer a link to a YouTube video or Instagram, or does it matter? Yeah.
Yeah, I think a link to a YouTube video is my favorite, and because I can repost that right easily. I can share a YouTube video really easily across a number of platforms. See, it's fine to see an Instagram video too. It's a live video. Something about your band, if that makes sense,
Right.
So what is the proper procedure to gig festival follow-up after email or phone call? That's a great question. I would tell people to be persistent, right? Again, I would get 20 to 30 emails on average. So sometimes I just couldn't respond to somebody right away. I'm always putting out fires trying to get to the next gig. So I might see an email, not respond right away, and then it gets buried in the inbox and I forget about it. So I say about 7 to 10 days, if you don't hear back, just circle back with an email. And you can maybe even forward your original email and just say, hey, just circling back here, really like to talk with you about a potential for these dates, etc. And if you 4 times, I would say 4 times. If you don't hear back from us in 4 times, we might be not interested and not have enough time to respond, which again, I wished I could respond to every email I got and just say, hey, we can't help you this time. Here's some other ideas, but I got overwhelmed. It was just too much workload. But don't be afraid to follow up 7 to 10 days and then give it another 7 days and hopefully people will respond to you, if that makes sense.
I see Zoe asked if you have any suggestions for up and coming bands trying to break in for what to include in their emails.
Yeah, you can let me know that you are an up and coming band and trying to break in. Again, I think your best strategy in that case for me would be, what other bands do you know in Nashville? If you're a bluegrass band, what local bluegrass bands do you know? And sometimes trying to put a bill together, be like, we're coming and East Nashgrass are friends of ours, and they said they'd share a bill. That worked for people and for us as a venue a lot at D's. Station Inn was different because we didn't generally do double bills. Station Inn's kind of a whole different monster just because of the one show a week, or sorry, one show a night and a couple of residencies. So we didn't have we didn't have as many shows per year. But if you're an up and coming band and don't have a lot of stuff out there yet, just because you've only been at it for a year, see if you can partner with a local band, right? That's your best bet. If you don't know any local bands, see if you know bands that know local bands, right? Try to connect with bands who are already on the scene and see if they can help lead you in the right direction. So if I an email from a band that's before, for example, and I know they draw good and you've got them to vouch for you and do a bill, I know that's going to help. So that's my best advice for that.
And wouldn't you say too, one of the benefits of attending IBMA World of Bluegrass for up and coming bands is connecting with other people that maybe are already established that you might open for or build community with.
Yeah, that's part of your mission at IBMA, and that's what's great about bluegrass too. People are really, really friendly in bluegrass. I mean, that's why I love playing it. I love being involved with it. We're a great community, right? That's what bluegrass is all about. And IBMA is a great place to connect with other bands and make sure that you're ready to return the favor wherever your market is. Partnering with bands when they come to your town. I also play in a band called the Johnny Camel Band, and I'm a sideman in that band. I play mandolin, but I did recently book a tour for us in the Midwest because I had a lot of experience in the Midwest. And our whole tour was, and we haven't played any of those towns before. So our whole tour was me reaching out to people I knew in different towns, Columbus, Ohio, and Chicago, and setting up things with other bands. And it was amazing how helpful they were. And I'm ready to return that favor when they come. So think about when you want to partner with local bands in their markets, returning the favor and working out ways for them to come partner with you in a market that they haven't been to, maybe.
And I would say to Kenny of Water Tower, all humor aside, in your email, you probably don't want to start out by saying my band actually sucks.
Zoe, did that answer your question, or did you want to unmute and ask more about that? Okay, great.
All right.
All right.
Are we ready to move on?
Yeah. All right.
All
Well,
right.
and we'll have time again at the end of the workshop for more questions as they come up as well, too. So
Feel free to add them. All right. From all that Jeff shared, talking before the workshop, we were really struck by the importance of artists being able to communicate who they are in that one sentence that a festival planner or a venue could just copy and paste into promotional material. So we started poking around websites and noticed that this next one you just got a glimpse of. Ready to move? Oh, there you go. We noticed that Dolly, who is probably the last person in the world who even needs a bio, still has her one sentence bio front and center on her webpage. That one sentence that really boils down to who she is. And even though, she's farther along than most of us ever dream of being, you've got options on our website. You can go to All Things Dolly, and that will take you to everything. You've got the books, you've got the Dollywood, but notice front and center. Whoop, back up. Front and
Sorry.
center, you have her current album. If you go to her menu, you can go straight to music, and once you get to that link, you can bypass everything 9 to 5 and all her costumes, and there you'll see she has that one paragraph that Jeff talked about. One paragraph that really sums up Dolly and her music career. You got a link first to her most recent album, but then you can dig a little deeper into her catalog. It's all there. It's all accessible. She has some live video, and the deeper you go, the more you can learn about her. So I think that's it's kind of that model to shoot for, because we probably all would like to be Dolly. All right. All right. If you got that, we're going to do our exercise ourselves. If you have your pen and pencil, a pen and paper, get it out, or you can use your device if you need to. But we want you each just take up 3 minutes. We're going to have a timer, and think about what one sentence you could write that would sum up your band, or if you're a solo artist, that would sum up your act. What would you want people to know about you? What's something that could be copied and pasted to promote you? So just take a minute. We'll hold on to those. Remember, it's a work in progress. We'll wait and share them later. But just take a minute. Take 3 minutes to write it down if we get the timer to go.
Yep, I'll start the timer. You can even go, if you already have a bio, you can look at the first sentence in your bio. Is it something you would want a promoter to pull and copy and paste, or how would you edit it? Another way to get started is if you think of a few key words that you would want in that one sentence, and start with a few words that you think just really core to who you are, and make sure that they are there in that sentence. So we'll take 3 minutes. Don't worry, we're not going to share them right away. So don't worry if they're rough, and we'll come back. Oh, there we go. All right, didn't know it was going to make that sound. All right. Okay, so next we're going to get into breakout groups and small groups, and you'll have a chance to share your one sentence bio.
All right, so there we are. First of all, I hope that was a productive time. First, can anybody in the chat, is there anything that you saw or heard that some of the other bands are doing well? Or is there anything that you saw or heard from your group mates that you hope you want to incorporate?
Are we sharing this through the chat, or?
You could go ahead and share. I think we'll just have time for a few, and then we'll do a quick exercise on taking an action step.
Well, I had the pleasure of chatting with Zoe from Himalayan Highway, and in the one nugget that I'm taking away from her feedback is how she frames her band's website, the homepage, as sort of a sampler to the rest of the website. So there's a little photo, there's a little video, there's a little bio, but then she expands on all that in the different segments after in her website. So I'm going to go back with Austin and probably address some of those features on our website.
Okay.
Awesome.
Anybody else see anything that someone did well? All right. I see. Liz said that Seth Mulder pointed out quotes from other artists and festivals we play can help, since High Lonesome doesn't have a lot of big accomplishments yet. How you present yourself, take what take what assets work for you. If you have good press, borrow those lines and use those blurbs on your Facebook page. Anybody else?
And you can feel free to unmute yourself and just share so we can hear voices.
Sure. I was looking at Lydia's page, and on the music section, I really liked that the first thing you saw was kind of the latest recorded song, probably, and it was a YouTube link to to play it really easily. And then after that was a list of all live recordings. You had a nice juxtaposition where like most of it is the live show, but the first thing you get is like, this is what the latest kind of from the band. I thought that was nice.
Maybe one more
Before we move on.
shout out.
Okay. John says I can't unmute myself, but he said the whiskey-drinks.com is a really nice professional site. So that'll be a good one for us to look for. And if we can figure out how to unmute you, if I can.
I was just going to say, you probably don't want to unmute me, but anyway, that's a great website, and he had everything that was talked about by the previous presenter. So very well done. Professional site.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
All right, Kristen, want to move ahead?
All right. Okay, so we're gonna do it even speedier round where you're gonna hop back into the same group. So we'd really encourage you, if you could stay, just take 3 minutes with your group mates to create one action step that you're going to take in the next week. And then be prepared to come back and share that with the whole group. But since you already were talking about your own websites with your group mates, you know, if you can just kind of state clearly what action step you're going to take, we'll put you right into the same groups. Oh, yes, good. Okay. And if there are any funky things, like if people had to take, you know, had to leave a little bit early and somebody doesn't show up, you know, we're kind of just doing our best to move people around, but just bear with us. It's only going to be a few minutes and we'll come right back.
Pop back out if you need to.
So think about what would be helpful to update so your website conveys what you wrote about yourself in your one sentence bio. What key things that Jeff mentioned do you need to add? And then, like I said, be prepared to share that action item. Okay, I'll open up the rooms. You should have an invite to join your room number. So are you seeing a little invite? Those of you that are still here, are you seeing a little pop-up button to click to join your room? Anna, do you have an invite to join a room? It's okay. Oh, I can't hear you because you're muted, but
Mute. Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
It would be back with John Pierce and Jeff.
I'm afraid I enjoyed this, but I have to leave because too
Okay.
many tasks are pouring in, and
All at one time.
It's
Well,
okay.
thanks for coming.
It's
I
okay.
hate to
Yeah.
be scattered.
Thank you for
between-
being here today.
Well,
Yeah, I was so happy to see you.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
and looking forward to see you in person again, maybe sometime here in Nashville, but definitely
Yes.
at IBMA.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know.
I got to bounce too, guys.
Okay.
You're doing a great job.
All right.
Thank you for doing
Thank
this.
you. All right.
Fabulous.
It's been great.
Okay. Okay. Bye.
I love the magic when everybody comes back, popping back in out of the rooms.
Yeah. How's this been for you, Elliot?
It was really good. I knew I had some website updates that needed to be done, and it definitely helped me build the list of what to do before IBMA for sure. And
Where are you located?
I'm in Golden, Colorado, and our group is spread out around the United States and India for that matter. So it's a bit of an
Wow.
international bluegrass thing.
It really is a journey. All right. All right, here they come. Here they come.
Yeah.
Oh, we really dwindled in numbers.
I think that I'm a teacher and I know what happens sometimes when you put people in breakout rooms. I appreciate your patience with us as we navigated a Zoom that was not our own. So if it looked like we were juggling just a little bit, we were. But yeah, I'll be honest. I'm a teacher and I learned Plan B. But I hope that you got some good feedback and that you got to see some good examples of other people's websites and you've got some things to think about. Do we have any takeaways?
Yeah. If you can share your one action item.
I'll jump in. Mine was, and I would love to connect with as many other folks in this room about, sharing music, sharing shows, promoting each other's work. I think that there's just so much talent and from all over the country here in this room that the more connections that we make, the better all of our music's going to be.
I agree with that.
So I'll throw my website in the chat if
Yeah.
you all want to follow suit with that.
Yeah, everybody, yeah, put your web links and we'll even try to see if we can find a way to share it with everybody, or when we go back and make this available, if you want to make connections with who all was here,
Yeah.
we'll try to compile all those.
Yeah.
in
That would be
the-
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's
My,
a great-
I'm very interested in the presentation that Jeff did, and I was curious, you said you're going to pass that out. Jeff, do you mind if maybe I represent Colorado Bluegrass Music Society, so I'm not in a band, but I represent Colorado. So would you mind if we reprinted parts of what you have to say so that bands will know what they need to do? Because I thought all of it was very good.
Oh, I appreciate that. Love Colorado Bluegrass Music Society. I have no problem with it. I think it's with IBMA and the webinar. I don't think it's a problem. Kristen, Nancy, is that you guys?
Yeah, if any of you, if you have an organization, where we could tailor the presentation for you, we'd be glad to do that as well too, John.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
That's true. And yeah, we'll share it with you, and it has our, credits us on there. So,
Yeah.
which should just
See, I see Liz
appreciate,
on
which I know
there
you're
down below, and
amazing at.
High Lonesome does a very good job. But I could probably
Yeah.
name you at least 10 bands that are actually good bands
Yeah.
that have no idea how to promote themselves.
Well, I mean, that's what, we're here for, especially bands that are at the point where they don't necessarily have this resources for staff to do this directly, but like are at that kind of emerging stage where they're starting to need more and more of this. And so, our thought was to get people together in workshops like this, where you all can make some progress on it together and learn from each other, and also build a network on it. We're calling this the Music and Community Network, this part of our work, because our intention was to connect people. So what's the easiest way, like when you say you'd love to stay in connection with each other, what's the easiest way for you to do that, like to have each other's information?
If a list like this could just be sent out through email,
Okay.
then we can make those connections individual. To me, that would be easiest.
Like with each
make sure
band's website.
You might put your email in the chat, or if that'll make it faster, and we'll compile those. But
okay,
and I think bluegrass is the best place. I don't know if there's any other kind of music where people do connect and as community is the way bluegrassers do. So that's part of why we love what we're doing. And I hope some of you who haven't been to IBMA before, when you go now, you're going to have some faces that you recognize and some people you can connect with, even if it's your first time.
Yep.
All right.
All right. And it's time for us to wrap up, but we definitely want to thank Jeff Burke for joining us today, and the awesome presentation he gave and sharing, all of his experience and knowledge around this. And Jeff's available here in Nashville. If you're looking to get booked in Nashville, Jeff is the one to talk to. He's got an amazing network. Or any questions about what he presented today, I've included his Play Music Fast, which means learn to play music quickly, like not play fast. And then Nancy and my email, for anything, if you want support in your own materials that you're working on or have any questions about what we covered today, please feel free to reach out. We encourage you to attend next week. It'll be entirely different. Ben Wright and Trudy Chandler will be joining us, and this will be much more about like how to make the most of your time at World of Bluegrass, what to do beforehand, what to do while you're there, how to make what are the key sessions you need to plan on attending, how to kind of form your schedule, and how to network effectively while you're there, how to follow up, and what to do after. So this was kind of to get you started working on your online presence so that you have some time to work on that before World of Bluegrass. And then next week we'll go more deeply into like that experience itself of that week. Nancy and I, Music and Community Network, will have a booth in the exhibit hall with the showcase artists. We don't have our booth number yet, but you can find us there. We'll have some free consulting times available that you can sign up for a time, and we can take a look at your materials and give you any of our thoughts on that. And then we'll have some deeper dive workshops coming up starting in October that will not be free anymore. They'll be affordable, and a chance to really get together and actually kind of do a deeper dive and make some progress on all different aspects of your career. So yeah, thank you so much. It was amazing to have such a turnout today, and we hope this was really useful for everyone.
We'll stick around a minute or two if anybody has any more questions.
Feel free to unmute and say goodbye if you'd like.
And
Thanks for hosting. Everything was helpful.
Where can they find the recording of this? Where's that going to be, of today's webinar?
The IBMA folks usually they'll have it on their website. What we'll do is we'll get the emails, and if we can get a link to it, we'll try to just share it with everyone who's here, or everybody at least who contributed if you put your website in the chat, we'll try to get those to you. Get that link to the recording.
Yeah.
To further answer that question, we will put this on the IBMA YouTube channel as well, which is what we usually do with a lot of other webinars.
Okay, that's great.
Okay.
I just want to ask if Liz is actually using a Nadine ear trumpet mic to talk into.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I have
Okay,
one,
cool.
so I might as well use it.
Yeah. Okay. Just checking.
It's overkill for Discord, but it's fun.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Well, it's great seeing you all.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
See you.
Really enjoyed
Hope to
this
see you
environment.
next week, and we'll see you in Raleigh.
Right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that was great. Kristen, I have a question. Do you know of any like funds to help other than the IBMA International Band Fund to help like a band from abroad come over and tour the US?
I mean, IBMA is the one, it sounds like you already know about that one.
Yeah, yeah.
That's because, yeah, that's like, yeah, that's a great one.
But
We'll
I
reach
mean,
out. We might could find out some information, like for instance, Hen House Prowler, since they work with the as bluegrass ambassadors, I'll ask if they know any.
yeah,
have
I'm
any
gonna talk to
connections with them.
Ben soon. But yeah, always just looking for
Yeah.
more.
We'll keep
Yeah,
our ears
thank you.
out. Yeah, put that in the
Yeah,
chat
yeah.
too, so we'll remember and we'll listen for anything and share it if we can.
Yeah.
So you might
Yeah.
try checking for some arts endowments. There should be a list, like several different lists of national foundations and arts endowments and things like that that focus on traditional and roots music, especially. That might be
Yeah.
a place to search.
I found those, though they mostly seem to want everyone to be a US citizen.
Got it.
Had a hard time finding
Trying to
something.
Flip it the other way. Come the other direction
Yeah,
instead of going.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, we'll
yeah,
certainly keep our ears open, Zoe, and see if we
Sure.
can find anything. We'll send it your way.
yeah, yeah. And then Nancy, I'm also looking for like, yeah, trying to figure out how to get good press if there's not like an album coming out yet. Do you know of any other like, do you usually do interviews mostly around releases and stuff?
Not
Or
necessarily, because contact me through email, because I've got a couple of outlets that are online. They're online publications, but they're often a really good place, something to share, and they do tend to reach a lot of people. So I'd be happy to talk to you.
Sure. Yeah, one of my action items is we need some good press quotes.
All right. Well, I'd love to help you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'll shoot you an email.
All right,
Thank you so
Lily.
much for this. This was really helpful.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thank you.
coming.
So glad you're here.
Hey guys, my name is Dan Daniel. I'm president of the Southeastern Bluegrass Association. Just wanted to thank you for letting me sit in today.
Well, thank you for joining us.
I enjoyed it very much. I also have a professional band, the oldest one in Georgia. Georgia
Oh,
Grass.
really?
Yeah.
What's the name of the band?
Georgia Grass. I started
All right.
in 1973.
Nice.
So, yep. Yeah, I've been playing bluegrass since '69. So
Awesome.
long time. But I enjoyed it. Very informative.
Well, thank you.
Great.
And I plan to come back.
Please do.
And I'll see you at IBMA for sure.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, Dan.
Y'all have a good day.
All right. You too.
Nancy and Kristen, I put a question in the chat, and first of all, thank you. This has been wonderful. To Jeff's point and recommendation, he was talking about doing some research and some front work before actually attending the gig fair. But is there a list, or does IBMA make available a list of those talent buyers? And if so,
Yeah.
where would a non-showcase band be able to access that?
I think you can actually they'll have a list, and maybe Amy Beth Hale may have the list. People who are attending who are willing to have their names added to the list. I think that can be made available. I've talked to somebody yesterday who said, I think when you register, one of the options is whether or not you want to be on the list of who's there.
Yeah.
So you might check with Amy Beth Hale.
Okay, we'll do.
She may be the one. And if you don't find out, check back with me and I'll do some digging too.
Wonderful. All right. That
And-
sounds great. Thank you so much.
Matt, is that you who's here from IBMA or?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know, yeah, when all that, because I know like right now are the signups, but they start with the showcase artists first and.
Correct. General signups for like all artists, I believe, are going to start. Let's see. today's
Tomorrow at
Wednesday.
3, I believe.
Correct. Yeah, tomorrow at 3. I was trying to remember the specific time, but yeah, Eastern. Pardon me, 3 Central Time.
And I
Okay.
did read in the email that even if you don't get to sign up, that there's still some openings that happen or some people that end up coming that weren't on the original list. So don't despair if you're not signed up for the gig fair, but check in anyway and see if there
Yeah.
are some openings.
Exactly. Better safe than sorry. Just just in case, all that good stuff. So
Right.
Yeah. So then like, will there be, is there a way to if you're not like somebody who's signing up for a slot at the gig fair, is there another way to just see a list of the talent buyers that will be there?
I would say the best person to talk to about that would probably be Ethan.
Okay.
Ethan Charles. Yeah, our events director. I don't want to misspeak on anything as far as that stuff goes. That's definitely mainly his wheelhouse. So I would say reach out to him and he probably would be able to help out with that.
Okay, great. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, of course. Do you have Ethan's contact information, Alex?
Unless it's changed in the last year or so, yeah, probably.
Oh yeah, it should be the same then. Ethan at IBMA.org.
Ethan at.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
It's a
Jackson,
long
I
way
see,
to become. You should have an N, I would think.
I see Jackson has his hand raised. I wanna.
Hi, it's actually Tiana from the band Hollow.
Oh,
How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Also, I had a thing to say about the gig fair in the chat was the first time we ever did it, I believe they said where all the talent buyers were located. And the last couple times, I haven't seen that information. So being from Canada, we have no idea. So while we're trying to sign up for the gig fair, one of us has to try to research every talent buyer to try to find out where they're located, because for being from Canada, it would make more sense for us to try to get to the closer talent buyers first, as opposed to the super far away ones. So that would also be helpful. Having a list where you could research it ahead of time. I did mention that at the gig fair last year to the person in charge, but I don't know if it quite fell on deaf ears or not. But it's you know, if you're not based in the States, it's really hard to know, because here, I mean, there's only a handful of festivals in Canada, like 9 or 10, and in the States, there's, you know, many more. So it would be nice to kind of know where they're located and research who they are and that kind of thing. But I did
We'll see if we
email.
can be the squeaky wheel and pass that along too.
Well, yeah, I did email Ethan as well, so I don't know if he'll respond today, but yeah, that would be the only thing I would add to the gig fair conversation here.
yeah,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
helpful to know,
yeah, we
Yeah.
can communicate that.
Awesome, thank you.
So, yeah.
because that's the I and I am BMA, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for
Yeah,
this
all right,
afternoon.
thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We
Thanks for
appreciate you
joining.
coming, and we look forward to seeing you again. Hope to see you next week.